Yo, just so you understand it, this is Coach Carvel Bailey's program with the spirit of Bob Hambry.
This is Blessed to Ball, helping athletes, and we represent. Study your craft, your mentality leads to excellence. It's all about your mindset. We'll never stop addressing this, so be positive and not a pessimist. Confidence took James Harden higher. If you really want it, it ain't gonna be easy. It's gonna be hard as carbon fiber, but we got you. From counseling to workshops, we do it. You'll go farther with a scholarship. We'll help you get recruited. Yo, anyone can dribble and shoot, but it's the ones who study basketball internally that make it to Duke University. Knowledge goes around. The game is played from the neck up and not from the shoulders down. This is Blessed to Ball, helping you with obstacles. The athletes are the rocket. Blessed to Ball is the rocket fuel. If you hit a wall, we can help you slowly climb it. So keep a Mamba mentality like Kobe Bryant.
Blessed to Ball.
Cherish the opportunities that you have.
Blessed to Ball.
Use your mentality to master the craft.
Blessed to Ball.
Come join our team, it's a new day. Follow our steps and watch how much better you play.
Blessed to Ball.
Cherish the opportunities that you have.
Blessed to Ball.
Use your mentality to master the craft.
Blessed to Ball.
Come join our team, it's a new day. Follow our steps and watch how much better you play. Yo, Coach Carvel Bailey. Hey, listen to your coach, man. He ain't no scrub off the street. That man got credentials, academic and street. Believe it, and my name is Strategic.
Good afternoon. How you doing? This is Coach Carvel Bailey. I want to welcome you to another episode of Lunch and Learn. All right, welcome to the show. Let me know what city and state you are checking in from. We are live on Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube on today. Being perfectly honest, this one is I got about 25 minutes, but this one is not going to be an easy show. All right, this one is not going to be an easy show because on today we're going to talk about what nobody's talking about today. As you may know, that May is Mental Health Awareness Month, right? And so Mental Health Awareness Month, it goes well beyond just individuals. Nobody really speaks on the mental health of our athletes. Right? Nobody really speaks on the mental health of our athletes. And I really want to talk to my parents and I really want to talk to my coaches today. Again, this one, I don't think is going to be easy, but as my wife put, I have a platform and my job is to educate as well as to allow God to use me. All right. So, there are a lot of things, right? So I got, if you know me, I got my notes and I'm about to see if I can run through this, but let's try to have a dialogue throughout this process also, right? So mental health is rampant, is running rampant in athletes since March 1st. And I'm dating this show purposely. This is May 5th, 2022. And since March 1st, 2022, there have been four student athletes that have committed suicide. Since March 1st, we got April 1st, May 1st. This is May 5th. In the span of 64 days, we've had 4 student athletes commit suicide. And so nobody is really speaking on the mental health of our athletes, right? What I want you to do wherever you're watching this, right? I want you to copy this link. I want you to share this broadcast, right? I want you to get on the phone, tell somebody, go to Coach Carvel Bailey's YouTube, go to his business fan page, go to his personal page, but to get locked into this for the next 20 minutes, okay? 4 student athletes in the last 64 days. So reasons why, right? And I want to get right into it. Reasons why a lot of student athletes deal with mental illness, right? Is injury, right? A lot of athletes, they get injured and they're doing their best, and it's stressful because a lot of athletes work their tails off to get to a certain level in their careers. But if they have a setback through injury, it's very, very difficult for that athlete to deal with that injury. And I'll get into that in a minute. But part of that, they still have to attend therapy sessions, physical therapy, physical training, right? They still have to attend class. They still have to be in practice, right? They may not be able to practice, but they have to be in practice, or the turmoil of being in practice and not able to play, or seeing someone else in their position and them not able to get those reps, that takes a toll on athletes mentally. So athletes getting over injury, and this is in high school, elementary school, college, as well as pros. I've had a lot of athletes, student athletes that I've coached personally, that have gotten injured, and it's been a process, a grueling process to get them back on track and on target after that injury. So one of the reasons that student athletes, right, deal with a lot of mental trauma, mental illness, is not necessarily the concussions, right? Even though that's injury, right? Not necessarily, TBI, traumatic brain injuries. It's the injury that they may face during the season or during their career. The second thing, right? The second thing, okay. I'm not sure about the noise, because I'm a reposition it, but I'm a see what it is. That better, right? Instagram says a lot of feedback noise. Are y'all getting feedback noise? fine. What about now? What about now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? What about now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Now you can. Okay. I almost feel like Tupac when he say, "Am I clear to you?" Right? Close your eyes and picture me rolling. Right? That's one of my favorite songs by the late great Tupac. Right? Okay, so you can hear me. So what I was saying, right, is I'm a very spiritual guy, and I firmly believe that when you're attempting to put things out there in the atmosphere that is needed to be heard, a lot of times, right, the forces do their best to come against it so that it can't get out. But everybody can hear me now, right? So the first thing, going back, recapping, the first thing that athletes struggle with mentally is injury. The second thing that athletes struggle with is having the approval of others, right? So they want to have the approval of others, and that's difficult. It's very, very difficult, right? Because they're living for the approval of somebody else. And that's an ongoing stressor for athletes, right? The approval of their coaches, the approval of their girlfriends, their boyfriends, the approval of their social media following, and more so the approval of their parents, right? And so it just doubles and doubles and doubles and doubles and doubles because they're looking for that approval. And a lot of times they aren't able to get it. So it's not always injury, but injury is one thing, but then the approval of others. And as I said, social media, right? We live in a microwave generation to where people are comparing other people's highlight reels to their life, right? I had a coach tell me a few years ago, right? What social media is people are comparing other people's highlight reels, right? I have students, they be all right, and they took 15 pictures and post one. And people think, oh man, that's how it is, but they've taken 15. People only post, again, nobody's talking about this. I don't hear any other coaches talking about this. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I don't hear any other coaches talking about this. They're all talking about the bright lights, the glittering gold, the recruitment, the scholarship offers. But nobody's talking about the dark days, right? The early mornings, the late nights, the frustration. Nobody's talking about that. And so in the social media world, we're seeing everybody's best, their best picture, their best highlight. And now people are comparing that to their everyday life or their everyday struggle. I won't even say struggle, everyday challenge, right? And so we have injury, we have seeking others' approval, and then we have this social media monster right now. But then another reason why athletes deal with like mental struggles is they're looking to get more playing time. They're looking to get more playing time. And I'm gonna couple this one with the next one, right? They're looking to get more playing time, and everybody wants to play. You're playing sports because you want to play, right? You're participating in sports because you want to play the sport. You want to get on the court, the field, the athletic terrain, whatever that may be, and they want to be able to play. They want to play. So if they're not playing due to injury, or they're looking to seek others' approval so that they can play more, social media is making them think that things are what they're really not. So they're upset if they're not playing. But a lot of times athletes don't understand it's about matchups, not necessarily skill set. But before the matchups comes the mentality. So you have the mentality, the matchups, and then the skill set. And most people just think it's immediately the skill set. But it's not just the skill set, right? Tariq, I see you, my brother, right from the East Coast. Amazing player development individual, right? On the East Coast. He checking in with us on IG, right? Rick, definitely do a great job. But reason athletes struggle mentally with mental struggles is injury. They're seeking other people's approval, right? their social media, they're comparing other people's highlight reels to their everyday life. They're seeking more playing time, but here's the big one. Here's the big one why athletes, even from the pros, why they have a lot of mental challenges and no one is talking about this. Is because a lot of athletes, their identity is tied to the success that they have as an athlete. Nobody is teaching them about being a human being. So if they're not playing basketball, I always talk about LaMarcus Aldridge, right? He retired last year. He had some heart issues, right? Retired. And he even said like he was dealing with major depression. Here's a multi-millionaire. He was dealing with major depression because he said like, I can't do what I do every day. Like I'm used to getting up, going to the gym, going to work out, going to train, doing all of those things. And now I don't have it. I don't know what to do with my life. I don't know what to do with myself. Now, LaMarcus Aldridge, thank God, is back in the league. But a lot of athletes, they tie their identity to themselves as an athlete. That is a major issue. And so those are really the 5 things that I come up with that athletes we talk about right May. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. But again, in the last 64 days, there have been 4 female student athletes that have committed suicide. And nobody's talking about this. Ain't nobody talking about this. Athletes dealing with injury is one reason. They're seeking other people's approval is another reason. Right? That's right. Share this out to somebody that you know need to hear this. Social media is another reason. They're seeking more playing time is the 4th one. And the 5th one is their identity is tied to them being a basketball player, them being a football player, whatever that may be. And so without this, who am I? And so as coaches, right now I'm going to talk to the coaches. Because again, I don't hear no other coaches talking about this, but this is what we do at Bless the Ball Hoops Mastery, right? But yep, social media, right? Wifey said like social media is a huge factor because again, they're comparing other people's highlight reels to their everyday life. But my coaches, I want to talk to y'all for a minute. Because I'm going to blame y'all. Well, I'm not going to blame you. I want to choose my words wisely. I'm not going to blame coaches. I want to teach coaches. I want to help coaches, right? Coaches need to be better trained. We're living in a new era, a new atmosphere, new state, right? Coaches need to be better trained in dealing with crisis. Now, I've worked with youth for 29 years in the recreational setting, the residential setting, and the educational setting. You have to have professional development, right? Working in a residential setting, the group home, like we had to know how to restrain an individual if they're looking to hurt or harm themselves or others, but it just wasn't about restraining. It was about how to deal with people in a crisis situation. Coaching is more than just looking on YouTube or going to a gym on the weekend and putting on a damn shirt, right? Putting on a collared shirt and want to stand behind and hoop and holler at kids because you're looking to win basketball games. Coaching is much more than that, right? Much more than just putting on a polo shirt and standing on the sidelines and screaming out plays. More coaches need to be trained in crisis intervention. So my administrators that are out here, I want to talk to y'all too, right? Because over these last 64 days, what's happening is colleges across the country are now bringing in extra sports psychologists. But let's stop being reactive and let's start being proactive. Does that make sense to anybody? Does that make sense to you all, IG? Right? Is anybody on YouTube or Facebook understanding me on the podcast? Where are y'all understanding me? Coaches must be trained in crisis intervention. If teachers have to be trained in a sense, why don't coaches have to be trained in crisis intervention? But then the second thing, right? And again, my wife is the brain behind this thing, right? And she says, watch this, right? So you see my notes right here where it says Coach 4, right? You see that word? Now I'm gonna come to Facebook, right? And I'm gonna show it, right? Facebook and YouTube, and I'm gonna show it. You see that word right there, right? It say coach for life, not wins. What does my wife say? Much more than wins and losses. And we love Meek Mills, right? We love Meek Mills in the Bailey household. Wins and losses, baby. Wins and losses. But coaches need to start coaching about life and not just wins. Yeah. It should be a curriculum from PK. Yep. Runner Report says it should be in the curriculum from PK, from pre-K. You're absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. It should be dealing with crisis intervention. But let's stop putting these polo shirts on and these hoodies and got all these book bags and doing all these things. It's more than just wins and losses. Let's start coaching life, right? And you like, I take this to heart. Understanding life through the game of basketball. I take this to heart. It's much more than just wins and losses. But a lot of times, going back to my parents don't want to hear this because my parents just want their athlete to win because they think that's what's going to help them get recruited. As a former college head coach, and I'm pretty sure on IG, Tariq can tell you also, right? With his expertise, nobody like wins and losses is yes, it's a success driven, right? It's a results driven career. Coaching is a results driven career. Same way with athletes, results driven. If you're not producing, then we got to replace you. But if we teach you how to not tie your identity into sports, even if you don't make it as far as you want to, you still understand what you bring, the value that you have to bring to your life and other people's lives. So coaches need to be better trained in crisis intervention. Second thing is they need to start coaching life, not just about wins. The third thing, right, coaches, and you may not want to hear this, but it's time to start having some non-biased and non-judgmental forums. It's time to start having some non-biased and non-judgmental conversations, right? Let's sit our players down. Coach Buzz Williams does an amazing job every Sunday. I'm not sure if Buzz Corner, but he's been doing it since before Marquette. But he gets his players. You wonder why Marquette, Virginia Tech, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, right? They're on a different level because he's teaching life, not just basketball. So that day that they say they can't practice, right? Now I'm gonna teach our life. But now is where you get to hear from your athletes that's dealing with the injury, want more playing time, seeking other people's approval, the social media, thinking that their identity is tied up in the success that they have on the court. Well, how many times have you in your AAU or in your high school sport really just sat down and just had an open conversation, open dialogue with your athletes? And what I mean by open dialogue, let them talk and you listen. A lot of coaches and players winning games while losing overall. They winning the battle, Reek. Tariq, right? Again, Tariq the trainer. Y'all go follow my man here. And we don't talk often, but when we do is mutually respect, right? They win in the battle, but they lose in the war, Reek. They winning on the front end. They'll win this game, but then they athletes wind up going to jail later. Start having non-judgmental and non-biased conversations and see how far that this can get. But before I wrap it up, because I got to go, right? Before I wrap this up, because I have to go. I got two more points that I want to make. To my athletes, I want to talk to you right now. Talk to somebody. To to my parents, to my coaches, right? Share this with your team. Share this with your athletes. My athletes, talk to somebody. It's okay to talk to somebody. Talk to somebody. Talk to somebody about everything. Whatever is going on, talk to somebody. The second thing I want you athletes to do is start learning through and from your losses. Start learning through your losses. Start learning from your losses. And when you change the perspective, it's not a loss, it's a lesson. It's a lesson behind that. Self-reflection. Let's take time to reflect. You didn't lose because you're still going. What was the lesson behind that? What did you learn behind that? Learn through and from your losses. Because the only way that you can win is to lose. And that sounds crazy, but when you change the perspective, you understand. Because you don't know what adjustments to make if you've never made the wrong choice or the wrong decision. Now you can make that adjustment and win further in life. Don't win the battle but lose the war. Tariq say they winning games, but they losing overall. Don't do that. Talk to somebody and learn from your losses. And then the last thing, right, is and I've been trained in this for about 3 years. If you for those that don't know, like my company has partnered with Eric Thomas and Associates, ET himself, right? I get trained by him and his team every week, for the past 3 years, right? And I'm trained in like personality assessments, identity. But the biggest thing is self-awareness, right? Athletes need to be aware. And this goes into their identity being tied into them being an athlete. But you have to be more aware of who you are. My athletes, be more aware of who you are, the value that you bring. No matter where you are, where you go, what value do you bring? That's your superpower, literally. You being authentically you. But you won't live for other people's approval or get totally frustrated with social media if you understood that you're authentic. There is not another you. There is not another Coach Carvel Bailey, another Coach Aubrey Carvel Bailey. It would never be another one. Nobody can duplicate what I do. They can try, they can imitate, they have tried, they have attempted. I'm pretty sure, Rick, you can understand it too, right? When you good, people will do their best to mimic you, but they can't. So I had to stop being frustrated and thinking about those same things that athletes deal with, because guess what? I was a point guard. I'm still an athlete. But I'm a little bit more self-aware now, and I'm authentically me. That's hard for a lot of people, especially a lot of athletes. And so what I use on my athletes, right, is a scientific tool to be able to help them, right, an assessment to be able to help them understand their identity, to help them be able to understand what their superpower is, what they bring to the marketplace, what they bring to the world, what they bring and offer, right, to themselves to be the best them that they can be. That's why I bless the ball. That's why Malcolm X, Truman, wherever I've coached, wherever I've been, schools, I've been successful because I understand this. I understand the psychology of dealing with people and the psychology of sport. And even with our Hoops Mastery program, we help athletes, we teach athletes the psychology of basketball to help them in their confidence, their IQ, their exposure, and their recruitment. A lot of parents got it wrong because they're being taught and told the wrong things. But this is what we offer. So my athletes, talk to somebody, learn from your losses, and be more self-aware and be more authentic. And to my coaches out here, to my parents out here, right? And this is, I want to be respectful in this because where I'm about to close. But if you really want to help your athlete understand how to be more authentic, to have more self-awareness, reach out to me, right? Reach out to me. It's Mother's Day. Normally, it's like $150 to be able to take this survey and to get the breakdown, right? For anybody that contacts me within the next 24 hours, they're going to get the assessment and the follow through for $50, because it's on my heart to be able to help athletes and help coaches help athletes and be able to help their parents help their babies become more aware and have more authenticity. 4 young ladies in the last 64 days have committed suicide. Student athletes. And I just want to close respectfully with this. To Katie Meyer, Stanford goalkeeper, Sarah Schultz, University of Wisconsin track and field, Lauren Burnett, James Madison University catcher, and the most recent, Arlana Miller, Southern University cheerleader. Our thoughts and prayers go out to you, your family, your loved ones. Please, 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 let's start having these conversations that nobody wants to have, because we don't want to be reactive. Let's start being proactive. I hope this made sense to you all. I'm not going to even repeat the offer because I want to be as respectful as possible. Just go back and rewind it. You heard what I said. Reach out to me. But it's on my heart today to be able to help as many as I can, because all that I can do is what I can do. So with that being said, this is Coach Carvel Bailey talking about the things that nobody is really talking about. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I hope this made sense to you. I hope you got a lot out of it. And from that, I talk to you all on the other side. Peace.
Yo, just so you understand it, this is Coach Carvel Bailey's program with the...
It's time.
Yo, just so you understand it, this is Coach Carvel Bailey's program with the spirit of Bob Hambry.
This is Blessed of All, helping athletes, and we represent. Study your craft, your mentality leads to excellence. It's all about your mindset. We'll never stop addressing this, so be positive and not a pessimist. Confidence took James Harden higher. If you really want it, it ain't gonna be easy. It's gonna be hard as carbon fiber, but we got you. From counseling to workshops, we do it. You'll go farther with a scholarship. We'll help you get recruited. Yo, anyone can dribble and shoot, but it's the ones who study basketball internally that make it to Duke University. Knowledge goes around. The game is played from the neck up and not from the shoulders down. This is Blessed of All, helping you with obstacles. The athletes are the rocket. Blessed of All is the rocket fuel. If you hit a wall, we can help you slowly climb it. So keep a Mamba mentality like Kobe Bryant.
Cherish the opportunities that you have. Use your mentality to master the craft. Come join our team, it's a new day. Follow our steps and watch how much better you play. Cherish the opportunities that you have. Use your mentality to master the craft. Come join our team, it's a new day. Follow our steps and watch how much better you play. Yo, Coach Carvel Bailey. Hey, listen to your coach, man. He ain't no scrub off the street. That man got credentials, academic and street. Believe it, my name is strategic.